Hello and welcome to another episode of Teatime SEO. So if you haven't seen any of these videos before, what we try and do is impart some SEO wisdom or knowledge in the time it takes to brew a beautiful cup of tea. So get that kettle boiling. So today we're going to be talking about how to avoid something called pogosticking. Now here's the truth, pogosticking can make or break your Google ranking. So what the hell is pogosticking? Well, pogosticking is when a Google user clicks on your site, then almost immediately leaves, and they quite literally pogostick back to the search results to find something that actually helps them. Now, you don't want this to happen to you, so if it is, we've got to go in and change something about the page. And needless to say, if your site doesn't make users happy, Google will not prioritize your content. So quickly, do not get this confused with bounce rate. So Google straight out have said before many times, we don't use any of the data in your Google Analytics to make informed decisions about users' placement in the search results. So this is separate. However, Google does use the data from Google going to a page, then going back to a page. They track that in the Google search or the SERPs. So don't look at your bounce rate and think, oh man, I've got to lower that artificially because Google's going to check mine in my Google Analytics to inform it. No, don't try playing around artificially changing your bounce rate in your Google Analytics. It's not going to do anything for you, and it's only going to screw up your data. So just focus on how to make a better experience and ask yourself, how do you keep users on your site longer? Well, you will need to do one of two things. Either your content is too hard to read or your page doesn't meet the search intent. So when your content is easy to read, people will spend more time on your site. It's that simple. It also stops them from hitting that pesky back button. Now, as it turns out, bullet points and subheadings make your content much easier to read, so consider changing to this format or shorter paragraphs if you can, because let's be honest, we're not exactly the most inclined to read paragraphs and paragraphs of text. And as much as I would like people to find my white paper or Jacob's new white paper on search intent and just read it in one big sitting, all 28 pages or so of it, it's just not how people want to digest information all the time. Now, the other thing to touch upon is something called search intent. Now, for example, if I search for an easy cooking recipe and the top result gives me a cookie recipe that requires 10 ingredients, I'm pogo-sticking the heck out of there. At least miss me with that, all right? I'm not happening. So I'm hungry now. So I need something that I can make quickly, right? 80-20 this, fast and loose, let's go. Where's the cookie dough that I can just chuck in the microwave or something and end up with some cookies? Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, take a look under the hood of your website by checking blog posts in Google Analytics. Is anyone bouncing away almost immediately? Because if they are, either your content's hard to read or the search intent isn't quite matching up. So you can do this quickly. Pull up your GA, pull up your pages, pull up some random page there, look at the performance from organic, don't get confused, look at organic's performance and see what that bounce rate looks like. You want it to be around that 60% mark, 80% is okay, but if it's 95%, 96%, you can start looking at how we can shift this. And check your current rankings using something like SEMrush or literally any other rank checking tool to see what's going on. And of course, if it's already meeting that criteria, maybe it's lacking authority, as in backlinks, which is a whole other topic that we'll tackle another day. But that's a quick tip that you can go through and do now. Pull up your Google Analytics, look at some of your low performing pages from a bounce rate perspective, and see what you can do better. How can you revitalize this content? How can you meet the search intent of what people are looking for when they find that content? And pull up that content in something like SEMrush to check what it's ranking for, and if that's the right stuff it should be ranking for. Anyway, my tea is done, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain this and maybe even chuck some cookie dough in the microwave. You know, we'll see what happens. Fast and loose, baby. See you later. My word of the week has been fast and loose, and it's because I've been watching too much Hamish and Andy, so I apologize sincerely if I've been on a call with you or you've heard this tea time and I keep saying fast and loose. I'm sorry. I'm gonna change my word next week.